So in this video, we'll be doing a quick visual comparison of A5 and B5 paper sizes. If you are buying your paper online, it can be really hard to figure out what size you should get. And the measurements are there, but they're not always that helpful. So this is just a visual guide to buying your paper or your notebooks or notepads. The red one right here, this is a Clyde Stationery A5 notepad, floppy cover or soft cover, whatever you want to call it. And in the larger size, this is a Campus spread paper B5 size. So this is obviously the B5 is a good deal larger than the A5. Both of these are popular sizes, the A more than the B, I would say, but there's a really considerable difference between the two. So I thought this comparison would be helpful. First of all, just to get the official stuff out of the way, the A5 is 210 by 148, so that's 148 millimeters wide and 210 millimeters tall. That's 5.8 by 8.3 inches. The B5 is 176 millimeters wide, 250 millimeters tall, 6.9 by 9.8 inches. So it's a pretty big difference. The B is generally a kind of close to a full-size piece of paper, where the A5 is I'd say a nicely sized notepad. This desk has 1/2 inch hashes on them, so you could see the difference between the two. And we'll line up that bottom left corner and we'll just align everything. You could see that the B5 gets about almost an extra 2 inches off the A5, 1.6 inches, something like that, like a good distance taller. And then it is about an inch wider. So it's a notable difference between the two, maybe a little bit more than an inch wide. So you're getting a big difference between the two. And the basic usage is the A5 size is usually a notepad. You could use it for any sort of day-to-day note-taking. For journaling, you would see this very popular for journaling, usually with a hard cover. And this one it's hard to tell, so it has this very tight grid on it, but try to ignore that grid. And you can see right here, relative to a normal pen, relative to a full-size pencil, you're getting a generous amount of paper for a lot of information storage. Going over from the A5 to the B5, now you're seeing a considerably larger piece of paper. It's hard to even keep it in frame on this camera. And this isn't quite the size of an A4 paper. It's smaller. B5 is smaller than A4, but you're getting quite close to that full-size A4 sheet. So you're getting something with a little bit more portability than A4. And B5 tends to be a better price than A4 notebooks. A4 notebooks and journals tend to come at a bit of a premium. So the B5 will save you some money, and you're almost getting that full size. We'll do another comparison video on A4 versus B5. But as far as A5 versus B5 goes, I would say A5 is really the right size for a journal that you take with you. It has a good combination of space and portability, whereas B5 is if you want to spread out a little bit, but you don't want to go full A4. Sometimes A4 could be a little tough to get into a smaller bag or backpack. So in that case, B5 becomes a really nice choice because it's a good middle ground between size and the amount of information you could put in it. It's not quite A4, but it's not small either. Between the two, I tend to use a lot more of the A5. I find this to be a really nice size for sort of like casual day-to-day note-taking and that sort of stuff. It's probably a little small for me for journaling, but for just day-to-day use and throwing in a bag and having a bunch of these notebooks, I really tend to buy a lot of A5, and I would recommend it for general day-to-day use while you're also keeping your notebook cost down. If that's a little small, then you just bounce up to that B5 and you're getting a meaningful size upgrade while still having something that is smaller than a laptop and about the size of an iPad, say, that you can keep with you all the time. Thanks for watching.